Hi everyone, welcome on board to Helper.tv.
A lot of pastors and their wives in the Living Faith ministry, Bishop Oyedepo'S church, are beginning to release information as regards what's going on. They cannot keep this anymore. It seems they are underneath a taskmaster, and what the taskmaster needs from them is money, money, money. Nothing else concerns Bishop David Oyedepo. Recently, one of the pastors of Living Faith Ministry, one of the branch pastors, released a video. And in this video, he talked about a sack letter that was given to him. And he said the sack letter content is about him not bringing enough money to the headquarters. A lot of people were on one side of the Living Faith Ministries, while the other people are also on the side of the pastor, saying it is about winning souls, not about winning money, bringing money to the headquarters. Bishop Oyedepo is not someone who is shy. He is a person who speaks his mind no matter what it is. He says what it is. And with this, it's easy for you to know where he's facing, the direction that he's focusing on. He actually called the pastor or any of the pastors. We heard that more than 40 pastors have been sacked this way. And I even listened to one of the wife of one of the pastors, serving pastor, who was crying, saying she has a child who is physically challenged and that the accommodation is deducted from the salary paid, and they are even paid 30-something thousand naira, and many other issues that she raised. And none of those things she raised looked and sounded Christian at all. I couldn't find anything Christian. There are people who are not Christians, who are atheists and many other things, who engage themselves in charity. But these pastors, they are supposed to be the biggest charity workers and all of that. But unfortunately, it seems Bishop Oyedepo is more concerned about bring the money to me, bring the money to me, bring the money to me. What that money is used for, I do not know. As members are groaning, if a pastor is groaning, I don't know who else will not groan louder. I think the members will be groaning much louder. If you're just coming across this channel, tap on the subscription button. Let's join this happy family together and make it bigger. If you're a returning subscriber, I say thanks for always returning. If you're already a member of this wonderful channel, I say a very big thank you. And don't forget that notification icon bell. It's very important. Without that, you will not know when videos such as this are dropped. Now, another pastor has decided to open up, and they talked about what they do. Is one of the pastors in Living Faith Ministry. He talked about how they send fake church attendance offerings to headquarters to keep their jobs. The pastor, in his account obtained by Sahara reporters, stated that the pastors who indulge in the act had a parley with some of the senior church members, church ministers. A lot of people complain about how Nigeria works. I'm talking about politics. You say there is a cabal around Buhari, there is this and that, and I laughed. It's the same thing with your church. There is always a cabal, someone you have to be friendly with, particularly churches who are not that keen on holiness. I mean, serious holiness. Churches such as RCCG, Deeper Life, and maybe Mountain of Fire. Mountain of Fire is more of a deliverance ministry. Of course, they talk about holiness, but RCCG is still a little bit slack when it comes to that serious holiness. Bishop Oyedepo'S ministry is a bit strict, but the strictness has to do with money brought into the church. It doesn't have to do with totality of righteousness and all of that, although they are not as you see in RCCG. RCCG is a little bit slack, like a little bit, they are kind of not so rigid in a lot of things. They allow certain things and all of that. So what I'm trying to tell you is that if you are in a church where holiness is not so tight, when I say tight, seriously strong, you will always find cabals running the show. That does not mean in these holiness churches they don't have cabals, but it's a bit difficult to run the show because in the holiness system and settings, there are always people. It's like a police church, a police nation. You know how everybody spy on each other and report each other. That is what happens in holiness church. But in these other churches where holiness is not that much, what they have is a cabal system. You have to know who is right. You have to know the biggest person. You have to know the next person in line. You have to know the person that has the hair of the daddy Jew. You have to know the person. In those churches, they have these cabals that are the strongest cabals. Those cabals could be in the branches connected to the headquarters. Those cabals, you don't go against them. Why? Because they know secrets and they know the run-ins of the church. And they are also part of they are so trusted. That is how some of these churches work. Church is not an easy task. That's the truth of it. So the pastor said that they had to indulge in this act and parley with some of the senior church members and ministers who deducted part of the pastor's salaries and remitted it back to the church as offerings of the non-existent congregation, meaning they are giving like a quota. It's like a banking system. A man put his mouth in this show when this matter of pastor's issue came up. He put his mouth into it, and this person is someone who we all know before. It was, there is this saga that surrounds him earlier, and I'm talking about Abiodun Fatoyinbo. He said church is like a bank. If you were sacked in the bank, will you go on social media to talk? And I wondered what he meant. That's to let you know how these people think. No matter how fluent, how smooth they speak, and how they appear like they know all what they are saying on the altar, and people clap and applaud after listening to some people preach and read some books, they come to dazzle you on the stage. When you look at the way these people think and the content of their life, you will know that they are far from whatever it is they are talking. Banks pay tax. Do churches pay tax? Churches are NGOs. They don't pay tax. All the money that comes into them, they don't pay. Before the man died, the dictator, Abacha died, he started looking at churches. He said, these people are not branches, they are franchises. These people have started becoming businesses because he started studying and understanding the power of churches in Nigeria. Churches are richer than any other religion that you have in Nigeria. Mosques, they don't have nothing. There is no way the mosques want to pick money from their members and all of that. You cannot be as rich as church. Why? Because the structure in which the churches are laid upon permits them to easily get money off from people and even tell them they will go to hell if they don't pay tithe, like RCCG pastor Adeboye. He said it live and direct. It's on record. It's just that people love their daddy Jews than Jesus Christ and than the word of God. It's the truth. They cannot call their pastors to them like, man of God, what you said there is not right. Some of them are afraid that maybe there is something that the pastor will do to them. They will lay a curse on them and God will answer. That God will answer the curse since he has a covenant with the pastor and he doesn't have a covenant with you. So even if you tell your pastor, man of God, this one that you said about the scriptures here is not right. How can you say this? And the pastor will lay a curse on them and God will answer and say, well, I have a covenant with him. I know what you're saying is right, but I don't have a covenant with you. I don't know you. You are protecting my word, but these are the things that have been put on the minds of a lot of people. So imagine a pastor parleying with some other people to lie. The pastor, who did not want to mention his name to avoid victimization, added that the practice was called wisdom, since they found that Bishop David Oyedepo was not able to go round and ascertain the authenticity of the figures and offerings being entered into the records. He said, well, they, Living Faith, planted over 10,000 churches before the end of 2020, and they celebrated it. After this were the different issue of no church hall and other necessary materials for the pastors to work. But some senior pastors keep telling lies that the employed pastors, should be patient with them. While this was going on, we must send reports of the churches to the headquarters through the area church. This was so that they would believe the church existed. Now, guess what number a pastor without church hall should send? But wisdom was what the senior pastors were asking us to use because Oyedepo could not be everywhere to check. What wisdom was that? Send good figure as the number of the attendance of your assembly, then put money to it from your salary. At the end of the month, half of the money you put would still be paid back to you to support the church you claimed existed. Nobody would ask you how you spend it, and all your needs will be attended to quickly from the state headquarters. They call it father and son relationship in the winner's family. It is not by mouth, but by envelopes that have cash inside. All these were what we were facing and still facing. No church hall and other things, but attendance must prove that the church is growing. Those of us who could not do what were called lazy fools, unfruitful, blatant failure, and so on. That is what we were called if you cannot do that. Sahara reporters at On Friday reported that the pastors said that they were earning a net salary, or let us call it wage, of 38,000 naira as against the 150,000 rumored at headquarters. Living Faith Ministry claimed that Is pastors are the highest paid. What does that mean? I don't know. You might be a pastor in Mountain of Fire and any of the other churches. How much you earn? I know Deeper Life does not pay their pastors. Probably the ones that are set on missionary jobs that I don't have any other job. I don't know. They also have their own practices. They don't pay. I don't think they pay. They don't pay. If you are a member of Deeper Life, if you have a different information about this, please do drop it in the comment section. Mountain of Fire, Deeper Life. These are I think there are about 7 big churches, but the big that we know that have branches everywhere that are strong and they've pulled craft for a long time is Deeper Life, RCCG, and this Bishop David Oyedepo'S Church, Living Faith Ministries, Mountain of Fire, Deeper Life, RCCG, Living Faith Ministry. These are strong, powerful churches. Very powerful, very, very powerful churches. And, Chris Oyakhilom's church, those ones, and the other one that built a big dome is also a son of Living Faith Ministry Oyedepo. I'm talking of Enenche. Those ones are the ones with big dome. Their members are not alike, but they have big domes. But their members are not really like I'm talking of branches. So guys, that is the one that is on now. It's now a business. It is, in fact, a lot of things have gone down the drain. Church is no longer a place of worship, a place you find solace. It's now a place you come to drop money. If you don't drop money, they don't put you in the front seat. There's a kind of hierarchy. People who pay money, people who support the ministry, they have a seat. You that you don't support the ministry, you don't have a seat. It's about money. If you don't bring...
Thank you to those who have taken time to subscribe to this channel. And if you're yet to subscribe, kindly tap on that subscription button and also the red bell icon so you will be notified whenever videos such as this are uploaded.